I watched Scream 7. Is it the worst Scream movie? What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm talking about Scream 7. I saw the movie last night. As a fan of this franchise, I went in hoping to love this, despite all the drama behind the scenes. Obviously, elephant in the room, Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega are not back. They were the stars of Scream 5 and Scream 6. They were not brought back for this film. And so in sort of a last-ditch effort, Kevin Williamson, the writer of the first film, came in and wrote and directed this with Sidney Prescott's character returning after not being in the 6th movie. So very much, it was a concern out the gate. And I kind of still wanted to like it. I was like, I'm a fan of this franchise. I think it is the most consistently great to good slasher franchise ever. I thoroughly enjoy most of the entries, 3 kind of being an outlier. So going into this, I was like, man, hopefully this isn't terrible. And then you sit down and watch the movie, and everything that unfolds is just extremely underwhelming. Before I get into it, though, hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts on Scream 7, and of course, subscribe and hit that notification bell. But when it comes down to it, I'm starting with the positives, and there isn't much positive to talk about. I'll say up front, it might feature the coolest kill in the entire franchise, and there are some gnarly deaths, but if you go into any slasher film, especially one in the Scream franchise, that's kind of the bare minimum expectation. Like, you hope to see some carnage. You get that here. The one kill in particular that stands out involves the tap of a bar. That's all I'm going to say. Like, if you get a beer on draft, that's all I'm saying. That's the most memorable kill, not only in this movie, but you could argue maybe in the entire franchise. On top of that, the opening's fine. That's all really I can praise, is there's some signature slasher kills, but other than that, this movie's a mess. And it brings me no joy to report that as a longtime fan of this franchise, but I gotta be honest with you. Starting with like the core of the movie, I don't feel for any of these characters. I'm not connected to any of them. In fact, the main group of kids in this movie have no chemistry. They're all pretty dull, and I don't buy into the fact that they're even a real friend group in high school. So when the carnage starts and they start to get picked off one by one, I'm not invested. That's a problem, a big problem with the slasher film. Taking it another level with these characters, Sidney Prescott is back, and I hate to say this, but she's kind of washed in this movie. I really felt nothing for her, and I'm not of the opinion that every Scream movie has to have Sidney Prescott. I think actually it's time to move on, and we kind of saw that in Scream 6. I'm a fan of that movie. I think a lot of people are as well, despite what the internet might say. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and so we kind of moved on from her. I don't think Scream is Sidney Prescott. I think Scream is all about Ghostface, so we don't need Sidney, and at this point, we're kind of just rehashing everything we've already done with her character. We're going through the motions. We're redoing what we've already done. We're re-exploring past themes with this character and doing it all again. There's not much story to tell here. There's not a lot of meat on the bone with her, so it comes off as stale and repetitive. Like, we have done this thing with Sidney time and time again. How many times can she get attacked by another Ghostface? So I'm kind of over Sidney Prescott, which I never thought I would be saying, but it's time to lay that character to rest. I think in the future, if they do more Scream movies, it shouldn't focus on Sidney because we've done it time and time again at this point. Then you got to factor in the obvious, and it's getting into mild spoiler territory here, so if you haven't seen the movie, tread with caution. Matthew Lillard was announced to return, and his incorporation into the story is laughable. In fact, the movie tackles something, and I'm just going to say spoiler warning. I got to talk about this movie with spoilers. There's no way around it. If you haven't seen Scream 7, go watch it and come back. If you don't care about spoilers, you've been warned. In 3, 2, 1, we are in spoiler territory now. This movie brings back Matthew Lillard, Stu, and he's entirely AI, and we only see him on FaceTime calls. That is a disgrace. I'm not one of those people who was like, oh, we need to see him come back as the Ghostface killer, because that's obvious. Very clear the character is dead, but this entire movie is relying on the audience believing somehow that Stu actually survived the events of the first film. That alone is a ridiculous premise, and so to ask the audience to buy into that, it's hard to wrap my brain around, really. The opening of the movie is a kill at Stu's old house that's become like this Airbnb visit place where you go, and it's like a monument to the Stab movie, and you can check it out and live where it all went down for a night. And then you get into the nitty-gritty, and it's like, oh, they want us to think Stu was there because it was his house. It's all bullshit, if you want my honest opinion. In fact, most of this movie is complete nonsense. Once the credits rolled, I was like, that's really where we wrapped it up. You can look back on the entire movie once it finishes and say, this made no sense. This didn't go anywhere. It was unexplored. Why was AI even involved? This movie left me frustrated because the entire reveal in the end is the lamest in the entire Scream franchise. The killer reveal technically takes place at the end of the movie as 2 killers are revealed. One worker from the mental institution, and one is the character Jessica, who's basically Sidney's neighbor and is like a friend that Sidney trusts. But the whole reasoning and logic for why they decided to partake in this is absurd. Essentially, Jessica was like a super fan of Sid and then was disappointed with her because she left the public eye. This led to her kind of falling off the road. It's all BS. None of it really makes sense. It's all forced in, and it really was the lamest Ghostface reveal of all time because both killers in the end barely had any screen time. And oh, mind you, there's a third killer here technically who gets run over by a car in the middle of the movie, and I forgot to even mention him when I made a short immediate reaction video on TikTok because of how lackluster that was. So there's technically 3 killers here. By far, they have the least amount of screen time compared to any other Scream Ghostface killer without question, and because of that, you don't feel anything when this reveal happens. It's like going through the motions. Oh, I'm gonna dump my life story and trauma on you, and I'm the killer, by the way. Boom, I then get killed immediately. It's completely useless, pointless. It was awful. I couldn't stand the reveal. It took away from everything the movie had. Yes, there are some tense scenes, one in particular involving a panic room in the house where Ghostface is trying to get after them, and of course the opening as well. But so much of this movie made no sense. The inclusion of AI kind of doomed it from the start. Then you went full nostalgia bait, having multiple characters, AI recreated in the final act on this monitor screen that Sid sees. It just kept making me go, oh, what are we doing here? This is where the franchise is now. This is what it's become. It went so long without a stinker, and this is a genuine stinker to me. It is the worst movie in the franchise, bar none. Scream 3 is still watchable. It still has the OG Scream vibes. This movie, unfortunately, does not. It is a mess. They even try and recreate multiple scenes throughout, paying homage to the OG. It's like, what are we doing? Let's wrap it up, guys. I mean, at some point, you have to have respect for your audience, and this movie does not have that. It's insulting, really, to Scream fans, and I think it's insulting our intelligence. It's insulting in general just to say, oh yeah, these are the Ghostface killers, by the way, and oh yeah, we kind of fooled you, Stu is AI. It's like, no one was tricked by that. The second he pops up on that FaceTime call, everyone should say, oh, that's not him, it's AI. So I don't understand what this movie thought it had going for it. It almost thinks it's like high and mighty, oh, we're so clever, we're gonna get you guys, but you didn't. You didn't fool anybody. I mean, overall, it's just a bummer. I could sit here and go on and on and on about all the issues I have with it. Characters are beyond stupid. Sidney Prescott spent so much time like locking down, being a badass and defending her house, and then ultimately she's not prepared all the time when the moment actually happens. It's weird. It's very strange to me. Yes, some of the kills were gnarly, but I can't just say that alone is enough to make this a great Scream movie. Again, I adore a lot of entries in this franchise. I think it is one of my favorite horror franchises, period. Maybe my favorite. This movie is not it. It is very clearly the worst. It is the weak link, and I don't know how people can't see that. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but if you are a longtime fan of the franchise and you watch this and you're like, yeah, it's not the worst, I'm like, what are you doing? It has to be, in my opinion. I think it has to be at the bottom of the ranking. Has to be, right? Come on, really think about it. So at the end of the day, Scream 7 was a total bummer, a big letdown. There was potential with some of the ideas, but they were poorly done in execution. It really relied heavily on a lot of nostalgia that just felt insulting with the use of AI. It was like, this is where we're at with a Scream film. And the final Ghostface reveal was beyond lame. It really is crazy that I'm saying this about a Scream movie, but I think that the franchise might be done in terms of it's probably time to hang it up. We don't need to see Sidney anymore. We might need to take a 10-year hiatus or just come back with entirely new characters. Or hear me out, finish off the trilogy of 5 and 6 because you had a good group of core characters there, the core 4, which Chad and Mindy are back, completely out of character, don't feel like themselves, and they were shoehorned into this movie to be like, hey guys, look, we didn't forget about Scream 6, but in reality, they're not themselves, and it felt strange including them in this movie because they're acting out of character, they're working for Gale. It's like, what is going on here? So this movie's riddled with issues, it's very messy, and I can't recommend it, to be honest with you. If you're a fan of the franchise, it is skippable. I don't even think it's worth your time. I think you can wait until it comes out to streaming or just skip it entirely because I don't see myself watching this one for the foreseeable future, if ever again. And if they are making a Scream 8 like they're talking about, I'm scared because I don't want this franchise to become a joke. It once had a standard. Say what you want about 5 and 6, but Radio Silence had their own directorial presence, their style, their flair. I thought those movies had the juice. 1 through 4 are like their own contained part of the Scream saga. And then you have this, which is the real ugly outlier. that tries to tank the entire franchise. So just don't acknowledge it if you don't want to. I'm kind of choosing to do that. I'm going to move on with my life. And when Scream 8 eventually probably comes out, because this will be a financial success, I'll be scared because this is proof that the franchise now is headed in a direction where it really only cares about money. It insulted the fans. To me, I was like, this is really the best you guys can come up with. And if they rush out an 8th movie, it will be a damn shame. They need to find some new characters, maybe move on from Sydney, or do something fresh and innovative. Or, like I said, take a long break and come back when you've had time to think of a perfect concept. Don't just pump these movies out because they make money. Really give something to the fans that's going to deliver and tell a meaningful story that, of course, has those gnarly, iconic Ghostface kills, but have a compelling reveal. Make it all make sense. Don't just churn out this mess because this was a disaster, guys. So that's my honest take on Scream 7. I was not high on this walking out of the theater after sleeping on it, talking on the phone with some friends about it, and really marinating on it. It just gets worse by the second. I can't believe this is where we're at, but here we are. I had to go in on that. I apologize. Not really. But what do you guys think of this movie? Let me know in the comments down below. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Be on the lookout for more videos coming very soon. I should have a ranking of all 7 movies dropping. Thank you guys, as always, for watching, and until next time, see you guys later.